What's up, everybody? Good Monday. Hello. It's Sports Net Podcast. Joey Alfieri, Simon Tsalikis. We're with you every day, Monday through Friday, breaking down the mainly the Montreal Canadiens, right, Tsalikis? And then we'll talk a little NFL. The NFL podcast last week, well, we'll talk general sports. Usually it'll drop on Thursday.
I don't want to talk football, Joey.
Yeah, I know not your Packers. Your Bears got handed a loss by your Packers. Why is everybody zooming in on the handshake after the game? It was just a subtle jab.
I think that they don't like each other. Ben Johnson, when he got the job, the one thing he said that he was 3-0 or something
Oh
along
yeah,
the lines
yeah.
with the coordinator. He doesn't lose in Green Bay and whatever. Listen, it's a great rivalry, specifically when both teams are good, but haven't slept. Looking forward to maybe getting some sleep tonight. We'll see if we can turn that corner.
Just a regular season game. You have the Browns next week. Shador lit it up, though.
Yep.
But look, speaking of great rivalries and big rivalries, let's get into exactly what the Montreal Canadiens did over the weekend. And it started on Saturday night at Scotiabank Arena against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I thought the Canadiens played a pretty clean game. They generated some scoring chances. I thought they were defensively sound first. And then obviously they get the goal on the power play by Cole Caulfield. Only 2 goals on the power play, by the way. I didn't realize. I knew it wasn't high, but only 2 power play goals on the season for Cole Caulfield. And then had one in the shootout. Texier had an incredible goal. So why don't we very quickly start with that one, Simon? I think when Texier signed, you and I both said, "Hey, if you can go get an extra 2-3 points in overtime / a shootout with him, that would be big." And there you go. That's already 1 point.
Specifically when I don't know, is Nick Suzuki 0 for 13, 0 for 14 on his last attempt. So it's nice that the coach has somebody else to go to. You don't have to keep going to Nick Suzuki. I don't know if Demidov was the next guy up, but that's massive, right? In today's NHL, a guy that can maybe excel at 3-on-3 or find a goal in overtime. I think you said it, Joey. I think you were saying about getting a point or two. That's massive. And whatever's going to separate these teams 1, 2, and 3 in the Atlantic, or 7 and 8, 9 and 10 when it comes to a wild card spot, is going to be a point a month. And if you can squeeze a point like they did on a Saturday, where I thought they were the much better team, I thought if from a coach's perspective, kind of like the way they sucked the life out of the game. They didn't try to take it into a track meet. They weren't getting a lot from the Leafs. They weren't giving the Leafs a lot either. The Scott Laughton slapper there on the penalty kill. I give him credit for that because I've always envisioned just trying to. I got no moves, bro. I'm just grip it and rip it. Take out the 3-wood, get it on net, see what happens. So I thought it was I don't think the score is very. It was friendly because the Canadiens got to 2 points, but I just think that they were the much better team on Saturday night.
Do you remember I think it was a penalty shot. Do you remember the penalty shot, Montreal, Toronto, back in the day? Sheldon Surrey came over the blue line and faked that he was going to rip it, and Andrew Rakeroff came way out to cut the angle, and then Surrey faked it, went around him, and put it into the empty net. That's where my mind went after the Laughton goal, just that Laughton actually ripped it.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure Surrey had ripped it other times, but that's the one that I remember the most. One of the things I like, and we'll transition into what happened on Sunday, Simon, because one of the things that stood out to me was the way the Canadiens played in the second period against Toronto. Like I felt like they came out and they were dominant. I forget what the shots were, but it was a lot to a little. Like 13.
I think the Leafs had 2 shots on that.
Something like that. Yeah, it was like 13-2 or something like that. And we know it's well documented. Canes have not been good in the second period this year. Like they really haven't. They've been abysmal. One of the worst teams in hockey in terms of goal differential in the second period. So that's kind of what I took out of it. Even though the Leafs came back and tied it, I was like, man, okay, this is encouraging. That a really good effort in the second period, and they were good for most of that game. Felt like they were the better team for at least 50 minutes of that game, excluding the overtime. But then you transition over to Sunday, and that's where it got disappointing to me. You get a big goal late in the first period. Caulfield extends a point streak to 11 games, but then it's 2 goals in 39 seconds to start the second period. And I know the Canadiens came right back, Simon, and they almost tied the game like with under a second to go. Like Dobson thought that Caulfield had scored. He put his hands up and whatever.
Yes.
And the Canadiens almost did it. They almost came back. But to me, that second period, and the only team in the NHL worse than you in the second period was the St. Louis Blues. And to basically give it away like that in the second period, it was disappointing just because it's been a trend all year.
Yeah, and look, you go on the road, you take two. St. Louis got two from Ottawa the night before. Not a lot of traveling from either squad, but nonetheless, they're playing on the back-to-back. You are heading home. It would have been, I thought, even if they can get 3 points, I was expecting 2 points on Sunday night. But look, Hudson scored a beauty as well. Got the crowd going very, in so tight. He went forehand, backhand very quickly. They're going to get into these lulls. And St. Louis, I don't know what to say about this St. Louis squad. I don't see it enough. But they fit a little bit of the profile of those teams that might give the Canadiens some issues. Not overly tough, but slightly tough. Throwing. I don't think there's a nice skill set out there, but they can get into a tight checking affair. They can limit the chances. Look, the Habs, I thought they played well again. I just think that there was a lull there coming out there for that little stretch there in like 3-4 minutes where they got 2 goals, and that was the difference. They were buzzing late again. I just like to see, if you're struggling on 5-on-5 and you don't think you're getting the production from everybody else, not that anybody's goal numbers are terrible, right? I think you're very content with the Kapanen number. You want to see more from your bottom 6. But maybe it's time to just, when you get opportunities on the power play, to roll out guys for 90 seconds, if not the whole stretch of 2 minutes. They need to get that power play going. They're down an entire line. Say what you want about Patrick Laine or Alex Newhook or Kirby Dach. That's most of us had that penciled in as their second line. So they're going to have to find some secondary scoring. And if they don't, then they have to be really, really effective on the power play.
Yeah, and on Sunday, I mean, the defensemen are the ones that that chipped in with 2 of the 3 goals. I mean, obviously the Hudson goal was phenomenal. I just don't understand why the second period continues to be a problem. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what the answer is. Like, other teams are adjusting and the Canadiens aren't. But then in the third period, I think they have a negative goal differential as well. But it's nowhere near as glaring. I don't know. I find it such a weird. It's just a weird thing. Because I feel like more often than not, the Canadiens have gotten off to halfway decent starts. They've been good to start games for the most part this season, but it's the second period is such an enigma. I think they were minus 13 after tonight. The Blues were minus 14 after the 2 goals. So I don't know. I kind of find it weird.
Is it maybe that they don't play? There's no heavy brand of hockey. I don't want to say like 20 minutes against the Canadiens. You go. Yeah, I don't know. Pick the best team in the league, whoever it is, or at least the most physical team in the league. After 20 minutes, you don't send your opposition into the locker room not wanting to come out for the next 20, right? But there's something to be said about that. They're good right across the board, but that second period, and they have legs, right? They have legs, and if the Canadiens are gonna get into a lull anywhere, it's because the Kings, the Bruins, the Capitals have been weighing on them for 50 minutes, and the last 10 minutes of a third period, nobody wants to go get a puck in the corner because those teams are crashing and banging. Right. The start of a second period, the Canadiens are, one of the better skating teams in the NHL. It should still be advantage at that point of the game, considering coming out of the break. So there's something to be said about that. Look, maybe if you did a deep dive, there's a period that they got completely shelled in against somebody. I don't know, but it's about adjustments. It's about coaching at that point. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll see how they're going to figure it out after a game between the 2 teams. Simon, any regrets, Bolduc for Logan Mayo? Would you take that trade back?
No, I wouldn't. Not with Reinbacher and Engstrom and Struble and Jacky and Carrier and Goulet on the mend here coming back. I think you're really, I think you're good enough on the blue line. Look, I think I've been a little bit too critical of Zachary Bolduc, and I don't know, maybe I saw the first couple of games in the season and he was scoring power play goals and it looked really good out there. I just have to rail it in a little bit there. He is 21, maybe 22 years
22,
old.
22, I think, yeah.
22, so a lot of hockey in front of him. Young player, still trying to find his way. He'll take on some more responsibilities as the season goes along and as his tenure with the Canadiens goes along. And maybe a little bit too much. He played really well last year and the production was really good in the second half of the season. So maybe too many of us, or maybe just me, had him penciled too quickly on that second line. But going forward, I just love the make of his game, Joey. You put on a little bit of weight, you put on a little bit of size, you work on a couple of things. I don't think Kapanen is the long-term solution just yet. He might turn into be the long-term solution at that second line center ice position, but if you can tell me right now they get better there, and Kapanen and Bolduc, the way they play the game, their brand of hockey, their skating abilities, their ability to win puck battles, I really like 2/3 of what looks like a very good third line in the NHL. You put Alex Newhook out there as well, who's got some really good foot speed. So maybe early in the season, I was shooting for the 25 goal mark very quickly, but I'm not going to say power forward, maybe power forward light, hover around that 17, 18 goal mark. I think that's a nice season.
For this year, you mean?
Yeah, for this year.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
I don't know where he gets the minutes, though, Joe.
This year?
Slav, anywhere going forward, right? Demidov, Slav, Caulfield, that Russian kid tearing it up there. There might be an opportunity. There is. There's still that one spot left to go, and who's going to claim it? You don't think it's ever going to be Michael Hage because you envision him as a center, but I don't know how certain the role of Zachary Bolduc will be automatically top 6.
No, I think he'll be a top 9. I think with that shot,
top 9 for sure, very good top 9.
With the release, I think he'll find his way onto a power play. I'm going to be honest with you, Simon. I still really like the deal. I wouldn't go back. I feel real confident about where it's at. I know that he's been demoted back to the fourth line. Played with Joe Veleno all weekend. I have to tell you that I felt really bad for him right off the hop because the first St. Louis goal came after he took the slashing penalty. I think was it on Justin Falk, and he did get him in the hands, and the stick fell, and so I understood why they called it. Yeah. But then the Blues scored. I think that was the first Braden Shen goal. Yeah. But then the Canadiens came right back, and it was Bolduc who fed Lane Hudson. The Hudson goal,
Hobson to Hudson, yes.
Yeah, it was Bolduc to Hudson, and so I felt good that for Bolduc that he got the primary assist on that goal because you don't want to see a guy, especially playing against your former team on your home ice, and you don't want to be and I think Hudson beat Mailloux. Like Mailloux was on the. I think Hudson beat Mailloux to the front of the net there. So nothing against Logan Mailloux, but I was happy for Zach Bolduc that he was able to bounce back in that way. And I just I don't think he's a finished product yet. I mean, we saw it. Like the end zone coverage sometimes the play without the puck needs a lot of work. I think that much has been made clear in the messages that they're trying to send him. But I think you've also seen some good things. Up on that top line, I know there was some adjustments that needed to be made, and it took some time. But they had a couple big games. I think they had a big game in Vegas, so they had a couple of games with Bolduc where he was productive. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be.
And again,
the top 9.
And the same could be said for Logan Mailloux too. If you're a fan, you look at the most important category for both those guys is the number underage, and it's still very young for NHL level.
Yeah. How excited are you about the Canadiens going to play the Heritage Classic next October in Winnipeg?
I'm more annoyed than I am excited.
Why?
Dude, Habs are never going to host one of these things. We don't have one venue. Your way around Percival Molson Stadium. Do you need a venue that has to have 45,000 people? We have to turn this incredible profit. It can't just be a nice profit. Right. What are we doing here? The Dodgers have hosted outdoor games in Chavez Ravine. Come on. From that standpoint, I like the fact that they're outdoor again. What is, the game against Calgary, the game against Edmonton, the famous toque wearing game by Jose. And I think there's one against the Senators. I don't know what it was, but I remember it was the worst day of Sean Campbell's life.
Yeah. Plus, they played the Winter Classic at Fenway, right? That was the Mike Condon game. Did Mike Condon have a shutout in that game? I think his dad was a police officer, and he
leading the
police escort. Yeah.
So I like it. It's cool. Look, I'm not tuning in to watch anybody else play outdoors unless the matchup is McDavid versus McKinnon, right? If you tell me, no disrespect to the Blues who are just in town and the Leafs that the Canadiens just played, if they're playing somewhere outdoors, I'm not watching.
You're not watching?
No, not watching. But I'd like to bring some attention here to find a venue here where the most historic franchise in hockey and perhaps one of the most in North American sports can get a damn game outside. Percival Molson Stadium. Hey, go to Mirabel. Go to the airport. I don't know.
I don't know.
Joey, I went to the U2 concert.
Yeah.
They put it up at Blue Bonnets. Seats all around. U2 came out. They sang. They left. Like, why can't? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why
already.
they can or can't. Honestly,
Isn't there a skating rink at Royal Mount?
There is a skating rink. Everybody could just stand around. I mean, that would
home.
be cool.
You watch from the food court upstairs. It's amazing.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Princess Auto Stadium. I spent a week there in November for the Grey Cup. It's a great
perfect.
venue.
I would imagine it looks like a perfect venue. I look also, probably a nice uniform that's going to come along with it, or a crest or something. Habs will come out with something nice.
I like when they have the laces on the the vintage, because there's only so much vintage you can go with the Canadiens. I feel like the Jets should probably go with like the Teemu Selanne jerseys, and then the Canadiens go with a nice little vintage a vintage jersey. But
I just hope it's a wake-up call. And I know that it's not ideal. We don't have the world's biggest Canadian Football League stadium, but there's enough seats there. There's enough there to and a beautiful backdrop and everything. Like we can have the Canadiens can host an outdoor game, and the NHL doesn't have to make a bundle, right? It's okay not to make a bundle. You're fine. You're doing well.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't know what the details. I don't know if you can play a game there or not, or I don't know if it's a scheduled thing. I have no idea. I love Molson Stadium. It's honestly like I know people complain about the benches, but I sat on them growing up my entire life, and I have no problem with them. I think it's a great venue, and I thoroughly enjoy going there 10 to 11 times a year for my regular gig with the Alouettes, and from November until May, I miss it every time. So to put a hockey game in there, I'm not sure what the logistics are, to be totally honest with you. I don't know why they can or can't do it, but it would be cool. It would be cool.
Carrefour Laval parking lot.
Yeah, in October though, that might be tricky. You might have to do it a little later than that.
Figure it out already. It's embarrassing.
Fake ice.
It's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing.
Not having an outdoor game for the Habs in Montreal. I think so. No, like Joey, how many times have you seen the footage of the Montreal Maroons or whatever running around outdoor parks, or I don't know?
There's footage of that.
It seems like there's footage of that.
The Montreal Maroons.
Can't trust anything nowadays. But we've been playing hockey. We've been playing hockey long enough that we should get an outdoor game. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I agree with you. We should get an outdoor game. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if Percival Molson is an option or not, but it would be cool to figure it out. Even if it was a temporary stadium, like you said, it would be cool to see how they would go about it. But for now, we'll watch the Canadiens play the Jets with in a really nice background. Again, I got to spend a week there. I got 2 trips to Princess Auto Stadium from October 29 through the middle of November. So I got to know it very well. I know it almost like the back of my hand. And so, there's quite a few locker rooms in there. So I'm curious to know, like, are the Jets going to get the Bombers locker room? Because I think the Manitoba Bisons are in there. For the Grey Cup, the Alouettes had the Blue Bombers locker room, and the Rough Riders didn't go to the visitors locker room, which is also pretty nice. They had the Manitoba Bisons locker room. So I'm curious if anyone's going to get to use the Bombers locker room, and it'll probably be the Jets. It'll be a Jets home game, but it's a very nice venue. It's a very nice stadium, and I'm looking forward to watching hockey there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our producer Sam and I might have PTSD watching another game at Princess Auto Stadium, because it still kind of stings the way the season ended less than a month ago. But that's pretty much it. So Simon wants to find out how we can have an outdoor game in Montreal, and I'm right there with him. I agree. We should have a game in Montreal. We'll figure it out. Tsalikis,
yes, sir.
I'll see you in the studio tomorrow. Okay, bud?
Yes, sir.
All right. Just a reminder for everybody to subscribe to our podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the works. And of course, you can watch us right here on YouTube and subscribe. Leave us a rating. There's a lot of people. Simon, you upset a couple of people with your comments from last week when you said Kovalev didn't deserve a tribute night. A lot of people said. One guy said
I did upset the Thomas Caberlet Nation. Yeah. They were happy.
Yeah, the Thomas Caberlet, Eric Stalls, you compared it to Corey Perry as well. There's people that didn't like that. But I think there's a guy on Instagram who called you a clown, or any clown, something about any clown has a microphone or
there you
something
go.
like that.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that?
84 points makes you a legend. I grew up in a different time. I grew up when guys were winning cups and scoring 60 goals.
All right, settle down.
And then we get guys who listen, nobody deked out the cones in practice like Alex Kovalev.
Chad Kilger may have. I like Chad Kilger.
Former first-round pick.
4th overall or something like that.
4 that high, yeah? Wow.
I think so. All right, Simon, I'll see you in the studio tomorrow, bud.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day/night whenever you're listening to this. And we'll be back, like I mentioned, we'll be back in studio talking about should the Canadiens bring back a familiar face? Do they already have their second line center of the future on the roster right now? Those are all topics we're going to get to throughout the rest of the week. So make sure you keep it locked into the Sports Step podcast.